Hello, my beloved waking gods and goddesses, and welcome to my new YouTube channel, Love, Truth, and Beauty. Do it yourself for Divine in the Flesh, where your PTSDs, your pain, trauma, suffering, and dramas are golden gateways to waking up and staying awake, where we learn how to navigate the ups and downs of the totality of human experience in this perception-managed reality, where our seven senses in this sensual sensorial world have been squished and dumbed down into the limitations of 5-sense reality. Before we get started, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and make sure to hit the notification bell and choose the all selection so that when we upload our new videos, you will be notified by the YouTube. Please also comment and share, and I upload videos Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. My name is Maria West, and yes, I am in front of you, face to face, on camera, and I'm a little tired. I've spent the last few days kind of puking my guts out, doing some really unglamorous things. But I figured I would do something different. So in today's video, which is episode 15, I want to do a behind the scenes sort of gander talk about the writing of my book and what that was. So I've entitled this, my story, my writing journey, utilizing trauma and abuse as gateways to waking up and staying awake. Now, frankly, this book baby was an accident. It was an accidental pregnancy of sorts. It wasn't planned. I didn't intend to write a book to share my story of utilizing my own traumas and abuses as gateways to waking up and staying awake, also known as spiritual awakening or remembering who and what you really are. I'd never even really considered myself to be an actual writer, though I fancied myself to be a poet. I'm somewhat of an accomplished songwriter with 5 albums under my belt, and sometimes writer of romantic soft porn longings. I can be naughty, but a bona fide writer, no. So, and a writer of some seriously dark non-fiction with the spiritual awakening wake the hell up slant? Definitely not. And especially since I'm outing some of the most soul-sucking, egregious, trauma-inducing evil acts perpetuated by humans, and then offering up my own trauma-deactivating version of energy healing technologies. No fucking way. Okay, so anyways, the inspiration came via a third party to write this book, and it arrived amidst a very intensive absolute balance mastery, energy healing practitioner training that I was facilitating when one of my client students made the proclamation that I had to write a spiritual book and tell my story because the world at large desperately needed easy access to my world of utilizing energy healing to deactivate and dissolve all trauma and abuse, including trauma-based mind control, thus allowing human pain and suffering to evolve into what I call the gateways to waking up, spiritual waking, and really waking the fuck up fast, okay? Now, truthfully, I was taken aback by my students' very, very boisterous, pardon me, I can't talk, decree, and silently shaking in my boots in trepidation of being politically and publicly exposed, okay? It's one of the reasons why I'm so paranoid of being on camera. I mean, I like my sort of anonymity, and I've been trolled. I've been actually targeted. So this is huge for me. And by the fact that I kept my own abuse, my work on the front lines with survivors of the most egregious of sexual abuse, and also my trauma deactivation, energy healing technologies, my healing stones and crystals, energy healing classes, and my spirituality world pretty much on the down low, because the medical intuitive energy healing technology sessions that I facilitate are considered by most folks rather strange to, frankly, very bizarre, even to holistic and alternative and spiritual medicine healing camps. Okay, so for years I tossed and turned. I'd be sleepless, in a cold sweat, freaking out over the prospect of not only sharing my deeply spiritual healing work and teachings based on nearly 17 years at that time of working privately and in small to medium large groups with clients and students all over the world, but now my own personal life, my own personal healing of sex abuse, and my very, very private spiritual journey would have to be dissected and disseminated as well. Yikes. I mean, that is a big game on, and doing it in your 50s. It was a big deal for me, so I didn't take it lightly. Fortunately, by divine design, I was already actively speaking and teaching energy healing classes over the last 2 decades. So much of the content of the book was actually transcribed from many, many, many hours of recorded speaking engagements and teaching seminars. And my beautiful, brilliant Parisian virtual assistant, Sabina, God rest her soul, she worked her magic. She came to America, packed up all my notes and manuscript in 2 very extra large suitcases, and she took on the task of transcribing the hours and hours of recordings and my scribble notes from dozens and dozens and dozens of yellow legal pads. So she actually deciphered my longhand scribbles and organized the whole shebang into a massive 700 plus page first draft Word document. Merci beaucoup, Sabina. I can't even tell you the relief of that, because I remember having my manuscript and all my notes in one corner of my healing center when I was in San Francisco. And those of you who've worked with me, you know that healing center was a very, very compact 500 square foot cottage. And so I would stare at this corner, which was totally organized. It wasn't a mess. And I would just look at it and go, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, what am I going to do with that? So nevertheless, I felt the weight of the divine calling me in to, you got to spill it, girl. And like it was my moral obligation to tell it all, to tell it like it is, like it was, showing from my firsthand experience, and yes, you can utilize energy healing and emerge victorious from this victim trauma-based mind control sex abuse, and also wake up and stay awake using all your PTSD to stay awake. Now, the process required the recapitulation and retelling of every awful fucking memory of abuse and trauma that I had suffered. So, I mean, we're talking every hit, every smack, every kick, every grope in the dark, every moment where I felt suffocated and choked, every word of blame and damnation, which is the complete antithesis of my teachings. I literally found myself on my hands and knees crawling through rotting remains, like literally and figuratively, timeless in the graveyard of my past. Every time I recounted the revolting bits and pieces of my story, I found myself in the throes of negative emotions and full-on body distress, vomiting often and crying myself to sleep. So each unpleasant rediscovery literally took me months to recover and regain my equanimity, and my 2 beautiful orange Norwegian forest cats, aka Otto Kalashnikova 47 and Mitt Rufus, they would literally push me off the couch so that I would take a break from my many hours and hours of rewrites and additions on my PC, which sat on my TV tray of a desk. And unbeknown to me at the time, I was harboring a bona fide narcissist psychopath in my home, expertly posing as my beloved. But we'll get into that that's a whole other story that was unraveling while I was doing the writing and the rewrites. So revisiting my past, I gotta say, it was the hardest fucking thing I ever had chosen to do. And during the time of this writing, I still had to work. I had my private practice, my students. I was also teaching group programs online. So I had a lot of things going on. And at the very least, I had to appear to have my shit together. And to my credit, as I talked more and more to people I knew at the time, no one had a clue. So, like I said, this process, it went completely against my own teachings in healing facilitation with my clients, who are, for the most part, they are victorious survivors of the most horrific of trauma-based mind control through rape, sex abuse, torture, satanic ritual abuse, or SRA. And they stand centered in their power and victorious because they were fully able to tell their stories, write, and mete out details of their suffering through journaling and burning. You have to burn the fucking journals, people. Okay, I can't stress that enough. You can't keep them on your bookshelves or in banker's boxes in the garage or in the attic. Okay, don't do it. You got to get rid of those things. Okay, you can't hang on to them because through those journals and through your storytelling, even songwriting, you know, once the stories were completely told, it was and it is imperative to stop repeating them over and over again and tell a different story. A story of dominion, success, and transcendence, okay? Because these old stories, these old traumas, and even from my own direct experience, I can attest to this. From our respective matrices, the matrix system realities, those morphic fields of our past and all the elements that we have, they cannot be allowed nor taken into our new universal fields of this new intentional creative field that we're intending to create a new reality and a new life in and from. Okay? It's got to be clear. So this is why the great inner work is so important. And because of this, my student who implored to me to start writing my story and put out my books, she knew full well that this is what it takes. And this is what it takes, people, to really develop the self-awareness so that you can know what you're up to, especially know what you're up to when shit hits the fan and you're triggered and you've got some kind of PTSD arising, some memory arising is really, really super important. So I literally had to apply the same loving client care to myself. I literally handheld all of my badly wounded and re-traumatized selves back from the literal nightmare of reliving the evils of my own experiences and my own upbringing. And then I had to piece myself together one by one, piece by piece, into wholeness again. And this process, I obtained such a loving appreciation for my life's journey. And so 10 years after this accidental inception, and shortly after my 55th birthday, yep, it's never too late and you're never too old to start, I completed this long time chapter of telling my life story of utilizing my trauma and my abuse and my pain and suffering as gateways to waking the fuck up and finally cradling my fully birthed book baby in my hand. And mind you, I did not go the route. How do you say it? Is it route? Road? Okay. The road of, I didn't go the route of writing a book proposal and trolling for publishers and endeavoring to fit my writing to some system. I just put it out there. But anyway, all right. And I paid for it with my own money, my own thing. I've always been self-funded. So, anyways, so then all of a sudden I was like this glowing, proud mama of a big and beautifully daring book called Eft Wide Open, The Rude Awakening of the Heart-Based New Humanity, because we do have to face that question. It's that question, effed over or effed wide open in terms of your life, because we have those moments where we feel absolutely gutted and fucked over. So I figured we would turn it around and just have it be this sort of a wide open expanse of showing up for every crunchy morcelette, every delectable, delicious moment, even the shitty ones, where you realize everybody around you lied to you and threw you under the bus. These are some of the things that we have to face. So anyway, so there I was having this conversation with Sabina and showing her the book. We were on Skype, and I felt these waves of really a softening relief moving through my body. And Sabina whispered to me over Skype, "Voila, maman, voila." And she said, "May you and Book Baby shine light upon the dark evils of humanity, inspiring love, healing, and the remembering of our divinity." So we had this conversation, and she had just given birth to triplets. I always say twins, it's triplets. But, you know, she always had this sort of double-barrel, double-breasted breastfeeding sessions during our Skype things, you know. And so I remember just kind of looking at her, giving her a kiss, and I closed Skype on my PC, and I suddenly felt this sense of, it was anxiety mixed with excitement and fear and, what the fuck? And it's like, oh my fucking God, what did I just do? And so I heard a voice whisper from the ethers, "Remember this moment." And so remembering that moment, ever so true to its title, I was literally made to make good on the title of my book. And I was fucked over, and I was fucked wide open as the living, breathing document of me, Maria West, in this body, mind, living this life and putting out this book. Because, like I said, the universe made me unravel and reveal every false agent and every facet of my life, which was, at the time, when it got published, my life was literally burned to the ground. And I learned the hard way of my folly, my naivete, which is, to me, the dark side of innocence, and adhering to the notion of spiritually bypassing reality and only wanting to see the good in people and the good in so-called New Age, loving, conscious, entrepreneurial, new humanity communities. I was never more wrong, people. Okay? So, you know, add on another chapter of moving from victim to victorious and mastering discernment, like literally. And because there is that notion that once you're spiritually awake or woke, that your life is somehow going to be easy, and that you're not going to make mistakes, and that you're going to know who the liars are, you're going to know who the narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths are. No, it's not true. Waking up, being self-aware, being more conscious of what's going on does not grant you a pass into specialness and perfection. What it does is that it aligns you with the harsh truths of what is. And from there, however you are, wherever you are, you pick your ass up and you step forward into the wild unknown again and again and again and again. And you choose to do your life, to incarnate in your body, in your life, and show up on purpose. And you forgive yourself again and again and again and again for being human and wanting to believe in the good of others. The birthing of my first book and its first edition taught me from the charnel grounds of my once upon a time life that NSPs, the narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, do indeed, they exist. And to be very, very wary, to stay awake, to notice when you're being love bombed, to notice when things sound too good to be true, because they probably are. And, you know, there's so much more that I want to share about this bittersweet, ugly journey, but I'm going to conclude for now. I'm super, super tired, and this was a lot. I'm like watching myself in the monitor and going, ah, yikes. So I thank you so much for listening along. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share it. If you have any questions, do leave a comment, or you can email me. The particulars are down below in the description box. And if you receive from medicine from this, please let us know your experiences, okay? And do share. So I thank you all for your participation, and thank you for encouraging me and being patient and like really, cheerleading me. It feels good to be cheerleaded along to, just kind of go over the hurdle and be in front of the camera. And I am actually in my bathrobe in my office. So anyways, until next time, my loves, be the love that you are. Enjoy your love. Enjoy your breath. Enjoy your body. Here's to love, truth, and beauty. Mwah!